The first thing that we want to do is that we want to make sure that all of our artboards are the same size and that we have one image on each artboard. We want, ideally, because the template is set up for images to be square, ideally you want to have your artboards to be square, and it's also useful to have your images centered on your artboards. If you notice, I have one image that isn't centered on the artboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to drag it over all of the items on the artboard. And then I'm going to go to Object Group. And then I'm going to go to Window, Align. When I go to Window Align, I get a palette, the alignment palette, and I'm going to go to Align to Artboard. And if I do Align to Artboard, then I can hit Center, and I can hit Center, and now my image is perfectly centered on the artboard. One thing I'm going to note, just because I ran across it as a problem, but it was not a consistent problem, is that I might want to go to Window, Artboards, and look and make sure that my artboards are all numbered in sequence. See, I've got a problem. So these are actually numbered correctly, but for some reason this artboard is misnumbered. I'm going to okay, they're now numbered correctly and they're sequenced correctly, and I don't know whether this will work correctly or not, but we will try it and see. Okay. I had set up a custom view to bring them all into view, and so I've done that. Next, I'm going to export them. Well, first I'm going to save. So I'm going to save, File, Save. And now I'm going to export them. And there are two types of export. One, we want an EPS, which is a vector format. And the other is tiff, which is a raster format. In other words, it's going to be set up as pixels. So the vector is a save as, and the raster is an export. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, or actually save a copy in this case. I think that will be the easiest. Notice that I've already created a folder on my desktop called secret code _ F2020 _ last name, and it is chosen. And I'm going to get rid of the copy, and I'm going to change this to EPS. And EPS format is a generic vector format. AI will only probably be openable in Adobe Illustrator, but an EPS format could be open in any number of other programs created by any other manufacturers, and it will open the vectors properly. At the bottom, it also says use artboards, which I want to do, and I'm going to select all artboards, and I click Save. And it gives me some options. You don't need to worry about any of these options. They will all be fine. Click OK. You want to make sure embed fonts is on in case you actually have some fonts. But it is possible that they will not embed correctly if you don't have the proper permissions, in which case you would probably want to outline your fonts before you export them as EPS. Click OK. All right, first thing I'm going to do is go to my Finder, And I'm going to go to the secret code folder, and you'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for whatever reason that file did not work correctly, I would need to go back and double check. I'm going to look at 5. I'm going to look at 4. I'm going to look at 6. Okay, so it is in fact, it did in fact get created correctly. It merely has the wrong name. So I'm going to just change this to 5. And that's now sequenced. Oh, you get 05. Okay. Next, I'm going to go back here to Illustrator, and I'm going to go File, Export instead of Save As, and I'm going to export it as, and I'm going to change the format to tiff, which is a high quality format that one uses when one is working with going to a print document. I'm also telling it to use Artboards, and I'm clicking Export. CMYK, we wanted the CMYK because we're going to have them ready to be used for printing. We want it to be high resolution, again, so that it's ready for printing. If we were saving it for web, we would use RGB color. If we were saving for web, we save it either as 72 pixels per inch or 150 pixels per inch. Probably these days with higher resolution monitors, you'd save it at 150. But we're saving it for printing, so we want CMYK and 300. And one of the nice things about TIFF is they have something called LCW compression, which will make your files a little smaller. And since these files are almost entirely white and black, that compression will probably help quite a lot. Click OK. And there it's written the TIFF files. And I'm going to go back here. And you'll see that I now have TIFF files. And again, I'm going to change the name of this. Well, I'm going to make sure that it's correct. So that is 5. And that is 5. And so they all exported correctly. I had an instance where the numbers on the left of the Artboard palette were duplicating, and then I not only did not have them named properly, they actually did not. One of them didn't actually get duplicated. So you just need to watch that. It's not something, previous versions of Illustrator didn't have that bug. That seems to be a Illustrator 2020 bug. And I had it solved by rebooting the file, but here it is again, and it's even on a different computer. So something to watch out for.